Initiating System 1. System 1 loaded.
The GoreCast is brought to you by American Horrors, the greatest uncut horror channel in the world. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all horror. As well as the station of decapitation without your head.
America's longest running horror channel, www.withoutyourhead.com.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
What's up, boils and ghouls, and welcome to the GoreCast here on Sunday night as usual. Myself and the Giz for your nearly verging on 4 years now, end of the week dose of old school Sundays. Well, 4 years ago it used to just be school Sundays because we were the only show. It is.
That's true.
It is.
That's true.
Anyway, I hope everybody's getting on well. The beginning of the whole Christmas season isn't driving you demented yet. It's fucking doing my head in already. So.
Yeah, but you're not a very, generally speaking, you're not the most Christmassy.
That is an understatement. I could quite happily punt kick Santa clean in the balls and mosey on with my day as if nothing went wrong.
I don't know if that would be a wise move. I mean, he's a big grizzled axe man. So
I'm a big grizzled axe man. Granted, he's got two functioning legs and magic, but fuck him, I don't care.
And has probably been fighting shit in the woods and stuff. But yeah.
Yes, but haven't we all been fighting shit in the woods? Anyway, I hope everyone's getting on well on this very wintry Sunday, which is why we're doing it via the original versus remake logo is on the screen. Because I just reused the original versus remake thing. But it's the only show we do with two people on it, all online.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Okay. I think it can be forgiven.
Yeah, I'll figure out which one of those is there. But obviously, as you can probably gather, as it's Sunday, it's not original versus remake. It's old school Sundays. As I was saying, winter's fully in Limerick right now, which is why we're doing this over the internet, because Giz's bike is essentially an ice cube. So,
more or less, I could get it started, but it'd be a worry of trying to get it started again after the show, and then roads probably freezing, and then me sliding out and possibly dying, maybe. I don't know.
We wouldn't want that.
But getting the bike started would be the big thing.
You've already died once around Christmas time before, and it was a pain in the ass getting you back. So
yeah.
Sorry, just trying to share and talk at the same time. We'll get into the newsroom in a moment and we'll figure everything out. But yeah, that's why we're hosting the show over the internet this week. And as is customary, we're all teamed up with what's going on over on American Horrors tonight. So we thought, sticking with the festive theme, myself and Giz would have a slight discussion about some of the horrible little nasty beasties that we have within the GoreCast toy shelf of death. Or, as we call it in the actual studio, the GoreCast toy shelf. Yes.
Yes. It's actually funny, because there's a couple of none of the people on the studio shelf are actually in any of the films. However, it can be argued that one of them is kind of the inspiration for at least one of the films we'll be reviewing.
Sorry, say that again?
Having heard. One of the films, none of the toys on the shelf behind you have anything that's actually in the films, but it can be argued that one of them is potentially the inspiration for the reason that one of the films we are reviewing got made.
Yeah. There's two of them, actually. Yeah,
Really?
well, like Chucky's up in the skull. I don't know if anyone can see Chucky, and Tiffany
Yeah.
is there as well. It's the
Yeah,
same
that's still the
franchise.
same franchise.
What else is there? Yeah, that's probably about it. It's probably about it.
Mm.
We got like the Five
Yeah.
Nights from Freddy's kind of furry bear thing going on as well, which I don't know if you noticed. We slapped a pair of goggles on the motherfucker. He's looking quite awesome right now. He's like a post-apocalyptic punk furry bear. Rochi, what's going up? Home Slice, how are you? We better get on to
was
the chats.
just about to
Hanley's
say.
here. How are you, sir? Yes, you are in fact
Well,
the winner. Ha ha ha. You are the winner. Ha ha ha. If there was prizes for being first in the chat, Hanley's got it.
He gets the old Marvel no prize.
Yes. Participation. That is the prize. Yeah, so that's going to be it. We got an
Oh, hello.
Oh,
sweet
sorry, I
Rabbit.
forgot it. Jesus, I'm very bad. Also, hello, Rabbit. Run, Rabbit. I have to do it. It's like my thing every week now. Run, Rabbit.
I was resisting the urge. I was
I
resisting
love it.
the
I
urge.
was dressed up as him last Halloween. Well, not Halloween, just gone, the Halloween beforehand. I
Oh,
was
yeah,
dressed
I
up as
remember
Otis. I scared the shit out of an entire neighborhood of children because they weren't expecting it. A, they weren't expecting an adult to be done up. B, they were not expecting that when it came to the door. And C, I think the fact that I was being overly friendly actually freaked them out a little bit more. If he did a boo or something, I'd have been at least it's the, do you want candy? No. Actually, it was a very good plan. Parents were just like, no, you don't take candy off this. Do you know the way we said don't take candies off of strangers? That's exactly lesson learned right there. You're probably better off. Had razor blades in them.
Okay, but isn't that kind of one of the things that Halloween is all about, getting sweets from strangers?
Not this one. Tell you that straight out. Okay.
Right.
I suppose.
Fair.
Okay. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Shit. We don't have a newsroom this week. It's fine.
It's
I have
fine,
them. I have
it's
them
fine,
lined
we
up.
can adapt.
Don't worry. But we don't have a newsroom this week. So I also need to figure out which one is original. No, you're not original versus remake.
Do you want me to just start cracking into the news while you sort that out?
Also, that's not the right news bit. What
Okay.
the fuck is going on? Jesus. I don't know what's going on. It's not my Sunday routine. I'm so discombobulated. Oh, yeah, I see what's going on. One sec. Okay, we're moving into the first news bit. Ignore that vampire there. He's got shit all to do with what the news is. This lovely blonde lassie. There we go.
Okie
That's who
dokie.
we're talking about.
Yeah, apparently Leslie Bibb and Dermot Mulrooney have been cast to star in the Lizzie Borden-inspired film The Inhabitant, which is going to be coming from Kevin Bacher, who wrote the script for it. It's coming from Steelyard Pictures film. I'm not going to lie, this could be interesting because for those of you familiar with the story of Lizzie Borden, she may or may not have gone nuts and murdered her entire family, but there's a lot of kind of, was she possessed? Was it actually her? Could there someone else have done it and then blamed it on her? There's a lot of conjecture. Yes, yeah. But this is looking to be interesting. The Inhabitants is an indie thriller about, as I said, the infamous killer Lizzie Borden. But in this, it's a case of tracking her bloodline that apparently has been running, straight through the heart of America and into suburbia, where a series of supernatural events reveal a dark truth behind a tormented teenager. Crap. So I'm getting vibes of like, fucking past lives, or maybe, parents start all of a sudden turning up with mysterious axe wounds to the head and a few other bits and pieces. But I believe Leslie Bibb and Dermot Mulrooney are going to be playing the parents challenged with the truth of their family history as the story progresses, and they begin to find out more and more about the fact that, our teenage daughter is acting an awful lot like Lizzie Borden, and oops, it turns out Lizzie Borden is actually one of our descendants.
Ooh, baby. Sorry.
That actually hurt. Oh. I think the last time there was a
Sean
good
Dunn,
Lizzie
how
Borden
are you,
thing
sir?
was,
Long time no
Christina
speaky.
Ricci started. Ha! I'm out of Sean. He's going to be coming over for a visit in a couple of weeks. It's going to be
I
hilarious.
can't wait. We can all meet up and
Yes,
looking like
indeed.
Mortal Kombat characters. I've actually, I am in the process of ordering a Mortal Kombat Scorpion face mask. It's like proper, like built with plastic, like Mortal Kombat the movie.
Fair warning, I
you
might rob it.
won't. We'll just put a line in the sand right there.
Okay, then.
That's the end of that conversation.
Right. Anyway, getting back to the
yes, sir. Sorry.
relevant news, which yeah, as I said, there's no word yet as to when the Inhabitants will be released. But like I was saying earlier, it's been a while since we had kind of a good Lizzie Borden thing. I think the last one was the Christina Ricci starring film, which then spawned a TV series, which started well but kind of declined a little bit. It was supposed to be a direct sequel to the film, but once again, discrepancies and all the rest of it. But Christina Ricci made a fantastic Lizzie Borden. It was great.
Christina Ricci?
But yeah.
When did she play Lizzie Borden?
A few years ago, we covered it on the show
Name?
of the series and
Yeah.
the film. I don't know, Lizzie Borden, something or other. It was a couple of years ago, and I haven't watched it in ages.
The name of that movie. She'd be great as a crazy bitch that's possessed.
Yeah, well, she was in like I said, it was a film, and then it got its own series. But this is most definitely going to be a film. And like I said, I like the idea of kind of drawing inspiration and using it to kind of tell their own story in a way. So, the question is going to be: will we actually see like Lizzie Borden's spirit inhabiting somebody, or is it just going to be, a
Lizzie
genetic,
Borden took an axe. We definitely
tendency
did not
towards homicidal?
review that, by the way. I've never seen that movie in my life. Yep, definitely have never seen that movie.
I remember. Are you sure? Because I was full sure we had done that. Like
100%. You might have seen it with somebody else or something.
no, like most things I was full sure we had reviewed it.
I'm pretty sure I've never seen that movie before in my life.
All right. Okay.
Yes,
Well,
next
Shall I
news
move
bit.
on to the next news bit that I
Go
feel
on.
might get you
I
very,
like
very
things that
excited?
get me excited.
Okay. Long-term computer game fanatics might be interested to know that finally the Metal Gear Solid movie is going to be happening.
Is that what the guy with the beard's about?
Yes, it seems director Jordan Vaught Roberts, the guy behind Kong Skull Island, is finally going to be bringing us his adaptation of Metal Gear Solid with Oscar Isaac set to sign on as, I guess, Solid Snake. Maybe
He's got the hair.
because apparently he's expressed he expressed interest in the last year or so in like, I want to play this. If they do a film, I want to do it. I want to do it.
Yeah, I will say with the look of him here, he does make a good kind of Metal Gear 3, Metal Gear 4 kind of old man Solid Snake. I could see him with
maybe
with the eye patch on.
Well, interestingly enough, the script was written by Derek Connolly, but what caught my attention was Avi Arad is going to be producing it. Yeah, I thought that might get your attention as well. So that's probably going to be action-fueled and violent and awesome.
It's a Metal Gear Solid game. It would fucking want to be. As much stealth there's also massive mech fucking mutant fucking crazy battles. I'd love if they got... I'd love if they got Psycho Mantis in and I had to take the DVD out and put it into another DVD player so that Solid Snake could beat. That's way too meta. Never mind. It's fine.
Anyway, for those unfamiliar with the game, or like me, just couldn't get their fucking head around the controllers the first time to sit down to play it and went, that's it, I'm going back to Street Fighter. In Metal Gear, the player often takes control of Special Forces operative, usually Solid Snake or Big Boss, who is assigned the task of finding the titular super weapon, a bipedal walking tank with the ability to launch nuclear weapons.
That sounds like a Metal Gear movie, all right. That's Metal Gear 1.
Well, no, this is the description of the game that I was saying. For anyone that hadn't played it. I'm not going to lie, man. The lads were big into it. I sat down to play it and I was like, how do I do anything in
There's
this?
a lot of
Fuck this,
knock
full
on
Street
wall
Fighter.
when guy goes to check wall, choke the fuck out of him from behind and move on with your day.
I don't know. Maybe it was just me. I was like, which buttons? Shoot, sneak. What the fuck? Ah, frack this. Give me a good old-fashioned punch, kick, haru.
Well, unless there's a boss, you don't want to be shooting. Chokey.
I couldn't
Hidey.
I couldn't anyway. I couldn't figure out the controls for it. Maybe it was just me. I just couldn't get my head around it. But I do appreciate the fact that it is a long-running franchise. Apparently, the original game, holy frack, the original game was brought out in '87.
Yeah, on Game Boy.
Really?
Yeah. Plays. Everyone forgets it. Like, was it Game Boy? Oh, what?
I don't think it was Game Boy.
No, it might have been NES or something. Let me double check.
Hang on. Is it a Sony game? Yeah.
Not.
Then it would have been Game.
Not all the time.
Okay. Because I was going to say if it was Sony, then it could have been a Game Gear maybe that you're thinking of.
Keep talking. One sec.
Will I move on to the next story then? Because there's no more really to be said about this one.
Yeah, we can, yeah.
Okay, all right, okay. Moving on to the next bit.
I wrote game autocorrect.
Okay, this. Don't get me started on autocorrect.
It was on. Yeah, I was right. It was on the Master System X and NES, 1987.
Okay then. Anyway, on to the next story, which is about an Italian-Argentine psychological horror called El Nido, which means nest.
God, you pronounced that correctly.
I said it correctly?
I said, thank God you pronounced that correctly.
Oh, well, thank you. Let's see. This film is currently in post-production from Film Factory and is looking to get its first promotion at the 2021 Cannes Film Festival, or Film Market, I guess. It's going to be starring Luciano Cesare Caceres, Blue Yoshimi, and Mattia Temponi. Now, what's interesting about this is that it's kind of a zombie thing in a way, but it's very relevant to the current situation. Let's see. Outside, a virus rages, turning people into savage and irrational beasts. But Sarah and Yvonne seem safe in their little nest until Sarah begins to show signs of the infection and slowly transforms. Yvonne is left with the question of, what the smeg do I do? Do I kill her? And how can he survive with no chance of escape? It's being according to managing director of Film Factory, Vicente Canales. God damn it.
It's just like there couldn't be one Asian person in the goddamn cast.
There was Blue Yoshimi.
Which you pronounced correctly.
So anyway, according to it is Vicente.
Sure.
Who is he's the Film Factory managing director. So I really hope I got your name right. Sorry if I didn't. I probably didn't, but I'm Irish. The next stands out for usual zombie horror, and it's hard not to draw a parallel with global health situations we are currently living in. As I said, the film is in post-production and it's scheduled for release by late 2021. When's Cannes Film Festival? Is that late in the year, or is that during the summer?
It's kind of early summer, if memory serves me correctly.
Then odds are they'll probably be kind of like showing it at that and then looking to get a distributor based on that.
I want to say May, June.
Yeah.
Would you like me to double check? I want to say May, June.
It's fine. With any luck, we will be out of this annoying situation, and so it'll be kind of a bit of a nostalgia film, maybe, if we're out of quarantine and lockdown and world pandemic crisis type stuff.
Yeah, if we're out of it.
I'll say one thing. It's a hell of a lot better than, what was it called? COVID-19 that's coming out starring Kevin Nash. Yeah. We're apparently,
I
bats
love when Wrestle Talk, we're like, I hope it's not just some blatant cash in to. Oh, at least it's not like a blatant cash in or something like that. And then it's like, oh, Kevin Nash is a part of a extremely talented SEAL 6 team that is trying to stop a bunch of infected bats from flying into America. And I was like, huh.
Yeah. Well, needless to say, this is going to be taking a completely different route, and I'd say it's going to be one of those like claustrophobic kind of paranoia.
I'm intrigued to see him in an action movie because he can barely walk properly anymore, let alone.
That's what stunt people are for.
Then you don't get a wrestler.
But if you don't get the wrestler, then you can't say that it has a wrestler in it.
Get it.
And therefore get the wrestling crowd to watch it.
I'm not going to watch it because Kevin fucking Nash is in it.
Neither am I. I'm just saying that was probably the thinking.
Like, if Kevin Nash is your selling point about that movie, I got some bad news for you. You picked a wrestler that I'd say about 80% of the wrestling fandom could be like, fuck him. Do you know what I mean? Like, what did he ever do? What did he do? He had a really shit title run once.
Bob Backlund.
Yeah, where he won it off Bob Backlund. The legit wrestler.
In 10 seconds.
Yeah, he nailed him. Like, he literally kicked him in the face and he gave him the jackknife.
Jackknifed
him.
Yeah,
that was it.
At a house show, no
less.
Yep. Not even a pay-per-view. Just
But
they're just like, we need the belt off Backlund. Why? Because he's
Bob Backlund, who, just in case if anybody knows, was the Kurt Angle before Kurt Angle existed. Bob, legit, I can mangle you up, Backlund. Legit wrestler, Bob Backlund. Yep. Kevin Nash. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we at least got to see all of that accumulate out, where there was that fantastic him versus Viscera title match, you know, because that was great. You know, highlight of my wrestling fandom. That's a joke, by the way, Shane. That was bollocks, is what that was. Just to let you know. I won't even tell. Two guys who can't wrestle and can't move in the ring.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Anyway, getting back to the story at hand, look out for El Nido sometime in 2021, and I wouldn't be surprised if when it comes out we end up reviewing it because it looks like it could be a fun film.
Welcome to the chat, Bree, and if you're playing games, we totally understand how you've lost track of time, because God knows I've been there.
Yeah, I think she was playing Xbox all day and chilling, trying to get that done.
Yep. Shane's either Shane is preaching the fact that she is a dumbass and she was on her Xbox, or Shane's preaching my Kevin Nash rant.
No, I think
I figured it was the
Nash.
Kevin Nash rant myself, to be honest.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, that's the end of the news bits. We don't have a newsroom anymore. There we go. We're back.
Giz doesn't snitch on anybody. Snitches get stitches.
It's true.
Very relevant for one of the films we're watching tonight.
Yeah, it's very. Yes. Not the movie we're going to be starting off with, mind you.
No.
But first movie.
Oh God. Can I just say publicly, thank you, Johnny, for bringing this film to my attention, because somehow I had never seen it before today, and yet found myself sitting going, it's like all the stuff that I've always known was condensed into this movie, and if I'd seen this as a kid, but I didn't see it as a kid, but this is great.
It's a fantastic little number, isn't it?
It's fun.
Good.
I know we say it a lot, but I think you would agree. This is probably, certainly one of those times that if I were in the film, I absolutely would have survived.
Yeah, you're enough of a man-child that I think you'd have been okay.
Thank you for that very mature-sounding description.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean...
Match.
Yeah. To be honest,
Yeah.
I won't lie to you. I think anyone out, including the chat and all the GoreCast crew, none of us are going to go fucking with the toys. None of us are going to go try robbing the old people. We're going to be they've let us in out of a storm, and all of us are, all the GoreCast crew, all the chat, from what I can tell, are very polite and would be just really nice to the fact that we're like, cheers for not letting me get drenched down to the bone. Really appreciate that. That That's a lot of freaking fucking
Plus,
toys
when a kid-
or dolls you have. Well, I'm a doll maker. Oh, well, that makes sense. All right, mosey on with my day, coat.
Plus, should a kid come along and say there's a monster, most of us will go, okay, what did it look like?
Yeah,
Let's go find it and kill it.
You know, the likelihood is it's probably not there, but it never hurts to give a double check. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because one kid's monster
Absolutely.
is another kid's. Some dude broke in through my window and's hiding behind the curtain. Okie dokie then.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Boogeyman. Murderous assailant who's broken in through your window. What a kid sees is what a kid sees. Do you know what I mean? It never hurts to go check it out. Never hurts to go check it out.
Anyway,
and it could be a monster under the bed because monsters exist. So. Yeah. Anyway, first up, as we said, 1987's Dolls, which is a bloody... It's a nice mix of two styles because it's directed by Stuart Gordon, who has been involved in Puppet Master. Puppet Master. He was involved in American Werewolf in London. He's one of those directors where if you're not actually aware of who Stuart Gordon is, you've probably seen a Stuart Gordon movie. He's that prevalent in the horror industry. But he came up with this cool idea for Dolls, came up with a cool poster, got some dudes to write the script. He saw it much more as a Chucky-style killer dolls slasher movie. Well, not like Chucky-style because it's predating Chucky, but only by a year. But like, do you know what I mean? He saw this kind of slasher movie with killer dolls in it, whereas the guys saw this really nice kind of dark fantasy Brothers Grimm-esque nearly tale that was there. And
a moral
yeah,
tale.
and somehow those two genres blended together fantastically. Like a lot of the gore and stuff that was in there initially got chopped out, but what gore was left was good, and sometimes little is more. Do you know what I mean? Like when you did see something gory happen, by God, it was gory, and by God, you were kind of like, okay. And anyone who did get gored up, you're pretty much like, fuck them anyway, because they're a pack of assholes. But tells the story of a family with young Judy and her asshole dad and her even more assholey. I'm going to say stepmom for lack of a better description, but she's not really a stepmom. She's just the dad's missus, if you know what I mean. They're going off on a summer holiday because asshole dad gets young Judy, who's the pinnacle of innocence. Like, if you want to look up innocent girl in the encyclopedia, there's a very good chance that young Judy will be in there. An adorable little thing. So, I'm going to call her stepmom for easiness sake. So, stepmom and stepdad, Storm kicks
Rosemary?
asshole dad and cunt face.
Yes, I was calling her that as well.
Okay, cool. We're all on the same page.
It's weird.
So a storm kicks up as they're on their way through this lovely country town. Their lovely car gets stuck in a massive puddle, which they can't get out. They go looking around for some sort of shelter. They see this lovely, or I've said lovely a lot. They see this kind of not offend.
Estate house,
I was going to say
kind of.
not offendingly creepy, but yet odd at the same time.
To be fair, the creepiness is more the fact that they're in the middle of a storm and it's in the middle of the woods.
The house
so
is in the
anything
middle
would
of
look
fucking
creepy.
nowhere. Like it's woods, house, woods.
Maybe they just like
They
isolation.
go up and they give a rap on the door. There is no answer. They give her another rap on the door. There is no answer again. Asshole dad decides, right, we're kicking in this window, which for a bunch of rich people, I was kind of like, well, he got on board with that very quickly. But anyway, kick in the window to get into the basement. They see a load of dolls. They're kind of like, what the shit's going on here? A little bit of a falling over is made because young Judy thinks she sees something running around, or should I say, young Judy sees something running around. The two owners of the house come down, who are admittedly initially creepy old couple until everyone kind of gets on board with what's going on. Well, I say creepy. They're kind of in their rights because three people had broken into their house. They were very standoffish with the parents because they could probably smell the residual cunt coming off of both of them.
And then the little girl.
Yeah, the little girls.
was like,
We just
and
needed
it
to
was
get
just
out of the
this,
storm.
oh,
We
okay.
did knock on the door. No one answered. It's just so wet and we needed to get outside. And then everyone was like, "Aw, Judy, you're so cute and adorable. Why don't you all come up here and warm up and have some din-dins?" So they all come up. Judy's lost her little toy on the way there. Mum and Dad
She didn't lose nothing. Cunt face threw it away on her.
I'm not trying to ruin the whole movie. This is one of those movies that people haven't like fully got on.
Okay.
You can see that the old couple are very, very much endeared with Judy and her childlike innocence and how much she believes in the life that comes within a doll or a young child's
Toys in general.
Yes, perfect. Toys in general, which is keep mental note of that, kids, because that's going to be very important later on. Needless to say, dinner goes on. Cuntface is being a total cunt at the dinner where she's accusing them of being witches and everything. Although, has she been a cunt? She's been a cunt. They're being very nice, and she's just basically, they're like, oh, what is your job? Witchcraft? And he's like, no, I'm a toy maker. Or, well, I liked how he was like, well, I suppose you're not totally wrong. I'm a toy maker, blah, 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 blah. There's a really cool story about all of the toys and stuff and how he makes them. He gives young Judy a punch doll to keep her, to give her a buddy to have at night time, seeing as her teddy bear has been lost. In the meantime, miscellaneous group of, I'm going to say, I had initially said teenagers when I was doing the review for American Horrors because they kind of look.
Well, the two girls
yeah,
are.
the two girls are. And your man is supposed to be young, I think.
Yeah, Ralph arrives on. He's another American tourist. And we see earlier on in the film, Cuntface nearly runs over these two
punks,
cute little punk girls that are trying to get a lift. So Ralph
two
arrives
cute
on
little
with these
punk
two
girls
who are clearly
two of the most annoying voices you are ever going to hear in cinema.
Well, the two of them are just, they're clearly in need of a daddy. One for spanking, the other one for cuddles.
Okay.
But they decide to latch on. They latch on to Ralph because one of them thinks it'd be a good idea to rip him off, and all of a sudden they're soaked and they're brought into this
Midnight,
house.
what's going on, brother?
Like
Welcome to the chat. Sorry for talking over you there.
Yeah. Like Cuntface, they're not exactly as polite about things. Ralph is. Ralph is enamored by the house, and
Ralph sees an old
picture of
Ralph sees an old school punch doll and is literally like, "Oh my god, I haven't seen one of those in years.
This is awesome."
And then Ralph is also very much leaning into Judy's innocence, and he's like talking to the doll with her and acting like the doll's doing the whole thing. And of course, creepy old couple are like, "We like the Ralph. We like the Ralph," because Ralph is a big old child at heart.
The Hartwick.
Yes.
The
Hartwicks. Thank you. Ralph's a big old man child at heart as well. So everyone gets ready to go to bed. The two girls had been planning on robbing Ralph. And then when they're no longer staying in the same room as Ralph, they're kind of like, there's a lot of creepy old shit around this house, which, what do you call them? Anti-cues? Yes, anti-cues. Are any of these items anti-cues? Because I would like to alleviate you of some of them. She doesn't say that outwardly, although she might as well have. Like, they couldn't have looked more like they're going to rob the gaff where they're talking to the old lady. Needless to say, long story short, all the cunts get introduced to a whole slew of living dolls, and you find out as the story goes on, there's rules in the house, and if you don't abide by the rules in the house, you get got. And you get assimilated.
And you don't get to leave the house.
You get assimilated into the house to a certain degree. Needless. Also, Judy survives, obviously, because Judy's a little dote, and Ralph survives because Ralph is a big man-child, and while Ralph is also quite aware of what's actually happened, contrary to the bullshit they fed him at the end of the... There's a very lovely letter from her father who's mysteriously gone in the middle of the night, decided to fly off, and he also took the two punk girls, and he's a horrible cunt of a missus with him. Which fair fucks to Ralph. He held his own till he got out the front door of the house, and it was like, let's go. But this is a very interesting. If you haven't seen this movie, you need to go see it. It's absolutely intoxicatingly good, and it's the perfect blend of straight up slasher horror with an actual Brothers Grimm style dark fantasy. Yeah, there is a really good moral tale there. Do you know what I mean? Like you do eventually find out that they are, when they've been called witches a couple of times, that people were actually right on the money, that they're witches. But
yes.
Well,
but they're not like malevolent fuck up everybody witches. It's more like you deserve this.
I was thinking about how I would describe them when I was watching the movie earlier, and they're essentially what I would like to call the Dexter of witches. While they are essentially evil witches and obviously use black magics for the stuff that they do, they only really attack people when provoked, and those people who are attacked and get witched very much deserve it. Yeah, there's not a single person
Deserve
who gets
it.
got in this movie that you're not like, well, I'm glad you got assimilated, you fucking cunt.
Actually, to be fair, to be fair, one of the girls is hesitant about robbing the place, and she's like, maybe we shouldn't. They're
Yeah,
really
for like
old.
5 minutes.
So I do kind of feel bad.
She got on
about, you know,
board.
No, she was happy enough to let the other one go off and do it, but she didn't do anything
Yeah,
herself. Unfortunately, then she did kind of run afoul of the dolls once she figured out what was going on, and she was trying to get away, which is then what ended up with her
Yes,
not
which is what
getting
happens
away.
in the house. But yeah, it's really good movie if you haven't seen it, which likelihood is I don't think a lot of people have seen it. So if you haven't seen it, go out and check it out. It's a really nice one. As I said in the American Horrors episode, if you have a young family member or brother or sister or kid who's looking for a kind of a stepping stone into the actual fully fledged horror genre, this would be a very good one. Like the gore, while there is a little bit of gore in there, it's very, very minimal. There's no sex or anything like that. You know what I mean? And like as I said, it'd be a very good. It's like a very grown-up fantasy, dark fantasy tale that would be a really good branching stone to get a young family member, as I said, daughter or brother or whatever, into the horror if they were kind of looking for something a little more up level from what the kind of standard 12-year-old horror movies are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have to say, I was actually what really impressed me, apart from the fact that very much this is my kind of story, the way that it went and all the kind of reasoning and everything. I was actually very impressed by the dolls themselves, the effects that were used, the practical effects, just the
stop motion,
the animation of them.
The stop motion is done
fucking
fantastically.
brilliant,
The little animatronic bits
Yeah,
on the
it's
faces are done
fantastic.
brilliant. And they're menacing looking dolls. Yeah.
They are. There's some creepy stuff on them when they want to be.
Where Ralph technically kind of runs afoul of the dolls, although the dolls aren't necessarily evil either. Like there was a kind of Ralph ends up getting surrounded by the dolls with Judy, and he panics and he goes into protector mode with on the kid as well. So he starts kind of punt kicking dolls all over the place, trying to get rid of them. And Judy's kind of like, no, they're fine. Just they're just trying to suss. Yeah, they're just trying to suss us out. They attack Ralph a little bit, and then Judy's like, he's my friend and everything. And then the dolls actually have a proper. Can I speak to you over here for a sec? If we just okay, look, I know he kicked Molly Mary in the face and stuff like that, and that's not cool. But in fairness, we did all kind of 500 of us 500 of us kind of get up and start moving all in one go. I think we kind of shit him up a little bit. Maybe we just just back off. He doesn't seem like a bad dude.
I think it was great that Judy could understand him. Ralph was like, what the hell's going on? They're trying to decide if you're a kid or not. And a few minutes later, it's okay, they like you, so we're allowed to leave. And Judy's just like, thank you. And you can see the dolls
it's something you don't get with killer dolls normally. It was I liked it where they were kind of like, I liked the way that they literally were kind of like, okay, we did come on a little aggressive. He was trying to protect the little girl.
Her. He's apart from that, he hasn't done anything else.
In fairness, one of mom and dad will be able to put Molly and Mary back together. It'll be fine. Like, I mean, you just screw the head back on, little paint job, it'll be okay. The humans get messed up when we do things. But as I said, if you haven't seen the movie, go check it out. And other than that, any good points and bad points, Giz?
Honestly, I didn't think of any bad points in this film because while I may have been watching it screaming at the characters, God, I want you to die, that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing when watching this film. So I feel that that's a good thing. And like I said, the stop motion that they use is fantastic. I really enjoyed the story, the way that it goes, the kind of moral tale wrapped in this dark fantasy and, bad guys that you can like. Because real bad guys don't bother going for the weak and the innocent. Real bad guys go for assholes. And these two, the Hartwicks, are definitely the very best at being bad guys. And I loved how Ralph at the end of it, when they're that kind of conversation at the end, and it's kind of like he knows what's going on. It's like, I'm dealing with two predators, but I'm going to politely try and get the fuck away before they eat me next.
I really liked how just organic the story was, because when you have that kind of dark fantasy slasher movie, they tend to just have okay, let's get a load of info out of the way at the start so we can get to the murdering and stuff like that, which this wasn't really the case. The whole story really played out like you're watching everything happen over the course of a night. Like there's a proper, fully functional timeline from the moment everyone get to everyone's arriving at the house and stuff starts to go on. That'd be like my main, outside of the fact that the story is great. It was just, there's a real organic flow to it that you don't see in a lot of movies. You know, they're always trying to rush to the action. Yeah.
It's an 80s. Not going to lie, I was sitting down going, this is why we love the fucking 80s. They actually knew how to do films.
100%. Oh, I forgot to have the trailer rolling. We'll cut to the trailer now anyway, so it doesn't matter. So anyway, we'll be back in a couple of minutes after you see the fantastic trailer for Dolls from 1987, if anyone's looking to download it or purchase it or rent it. Really worth the watch.
Great.
As I said, it's one you can pretty much have the whole family. I wouldn't recommend it for anyone under maybe 12 or 13. Do you know what I mean? Because like some of the gore could freak a younger kid out. Like the cunt face stepmom is pretty mangled in the bed reveal. And when Punk Chick 1 gets annihilated, that's also quite terrifying. And it was an inventive kill. You don't see stuff like that very often with Dolls. It's usually like, it was great. I really liked it.
Great.
But anyway, I'm sure you'll probably see a little bit of that in the trailer. But you will actually, come to think of it, you will see some of it in the trailer. Blonde punk chick is what you're looking out for. Isabel, yes. But anyway, we'll be back in a couple of minutes after the trailer for Dolls, where we're going to be talking about, ooh, baby. Oh, no, wait, sorry. Yeah, no, sorry. Next, Dolly, which is Dolly Dearest, which, goddamn, that's a whole story to unfold itself. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Ever been afraid of a storm? Think everything will be all right in the morning?
Suppose there isn't a morning.
Tonight, in this storm, in this house, you will discover something you've never been afraid of before.
They're alive, aren't they?
Dolls. They want to play with you. Dolls.
Pleasant dreams.
And we is back.
Oh,
We are back,
I hope they
kids.
didn't do that.
Yet again, can't reiterate it enough. If you get a chance to go see this movie, by all means, do. It's a hoot. Lovely kind of fantasy
really
soundtrack
is.
and stuff like that accompanies it. It's just a very, very well orchestrated piece of cinema from start to finish.
The girls did have some very good taste in
they
music,
did.
I thought.
And in clothes. Yes. And I found the conversation when Mrs. Whitaker? Whitwick? Hartwick, thank you. I found it funny, the conversation with Mrs. Hartwick was like, I brought you some cloths to wash that stuff off your face. It seems to have started to run in the rain. No, it looked like this before the rain. Right.
But to be fair, she responded accurately by going, "Oh, well, I'm not up to date on modern styles and fashions." Like she didn't. It wasn't I was half expecting criticism, but no, perfectly polite and perfectly happy. It was like, "Oh, that's your way and that's fair." And there was a lot of things like that. You know, the fact that they recognize that they are from a bygone age and these are people from a different mindset and a
They
different
also
contemporary look on
they
things.
also managed to get across as well, like while they were very friendly and nice couple in this movie, bar when people run afoul of them, they do also do a very good job of, like, it's always in the back of your head that if it's a little shit of a kid that shows up in the house, he's going in the oven. Do you know what I mean? Like, you very much, you do get that vibe. It's just that Judy's as sweet as a fucking
She is the picture
yeah,
of
I'd
childhood
already
innocence.
said that. I was trying to find a different way of articulating it. But yeah.
I have to say, that scene at the start with
Yeah.
the bear was great. And
Came out of nowhere, yeah.
That was just like,
Well, that
that's
was
cool.
like, as I said, it's really good storytelling from start to finish. It was a good way of getting a scare in there, but it was also a very good way of showing the audience of what a overactive imagination young Judy actually possesses.
No such thing as overactive imagination. You either have imagination or you
True.
don't.
You get what I'm trying to say, though. You do. Okay. Anyway,
I do.
next
I do.
from 1991, we have Dolly Dearest, which, goddamn, this is a movie.
It has to be said that it's probably a film that was made to capitalize on the success of Child's Play. And in my opinion, considering how many films, tried to do it, this one does it right. It's different enough that it's its own story, while at the same time, you get kind of the same vibe, and they took a slightly different path with things in regards. There wasn't as much gaslighting, I guess, is the best term to use for parents. Because that was one of the things that kind of bugged me about the first Child's Play. Was kind of like no one believes anything. It's just like, for fuck's sake.
Well, you see,
But
here's the thing: when you compare this to Child's Play, right? Andy, we will get into the actual quick synopsis of the plot momentarily, but Andy in Child's Play, his behavior doesn't actually change. It's Chucky, whereas the girl in this, there's a notable change in her demeanor and even the way she speaks.
Oh yeah.
Do you mean like you to the point that you're sometimes wondering, is the doll in her sometimes as well? Do you know what I mean? Because there's certain conversations that are had during the movie. But anyway, Dolly Dearest, I'll let you take Dolly Dearest away if you'd like.
Okay. Before I do, just
hey,
briefly,
what's up, homie? How are you?
Okay, so Dolly Dearest basically takes place in Mexico because Elliot Wade, who is a somewhat successful toy maker, has decided that he's going to buy the Dolly Dearest factory. And from this, he's going to make his fortune because the owner of the Dolly Dearest factory, before she passed away, created the fucking best doll he's ever seen in his life. The most lifelike, the most beautiful thing. And he just reckons every little girl in the country is going to want one of these. We're going to make a fortune. So he moves his entire family down. Wife Marilyn, played by Denise Crosby, also Tasha Yar for Star Trek fans. Son Jimmy, who needs a slap upside the back of the head a lot. And little Jessica, who, when the father goes to inspect the factory and is somewhat disenfranchised to find that it is a little bit, it's a lot dilapidated.
It had been let go a little bit.
Becomes enamored. Becomes enamored with this final production doll. There's a whole line of them. It wasn't just
there's about 50 dolls there, but there's one
so she asked, can she have one?
She seems drawn to.
Well, no. What I mean is, there's actually a production line of that doll, and she just kind of, can I have this one? And her dad's like, yeah, no bother. So she takes it off. Now, unfortunately, the film does start off with an archaeologist cracking open a tomb and dying when the cover stone of the tomb lands on him, and this releases an evil entity that people known as the Sanzia had locked away. Sanzia translates to Satan on Earth, so probably not a good thing. It's not long after this that Marilyn notices some behavioral changes in her daughter Jessica once the doll comes back, particularly when the housemaid invites a priest to bless the house, as is tradition, and Jessica has a shit fit because goddamn Catholicism, bad. This is the first kind of warning sign, although it's not really evident at the time for Marilyn that maybe something's up. But Jessica's behavior becomes more and more aggressive and belligerent towards not just the housemaid, but also towards Marilyn whenever she tries to separate her from the doll. Meanwhile, Elliot is trying to get the place up and running. Jimmy is being a nosy little shit and crawling in around an archaeological site where somebody died, despite the fact that there are signs up saying "keep the fuck out." So he's like, I know all this stuff. I'm just going to go in. I've read all about the Mayan civilization. So when Rip Thorne eventually arrives on, because he's the archaeologist in charge, he's seen some of the pics that he's associated brought out, and he's kind of like, these aren't Mayan. What the fuck? What's he found? Could it be? Did he find the Sanzian tomb? There's even a protester that arrives on later on and says, look, you're after releasing evil. You have to lock it up. You have no idea what you've done. He puts it all down to superstition, despite the fact that, the legends say that the Sanzias created this devil child with a goat head and a child's body, and they fed it the blood of innocent children to try and make it
normal.
grow.
Nothing to see here.
So despite all that, he's just like, superstition, baloney, blah, 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 blah. But to be fair, once he does get a look at the tomb, it's kind of like, Yeah, once he gets a look at the tomb, it's kind of like, well, maybe this wasn't such baloney after all. And unsurprising, once people start to become suspicious of the doll, people also start to kind of, dying horribly, because the doll doesn't like to be fucked with, and she doesn't want to be separated from Jessica, because Jessica is going to be her kind of key into this world. And one of the things that sets this film apart from the Child's Play movies is that it's not just one goddamn doll. Apparently, this demon child of the Sanzian people has infected the entire line. So you have a whole bunch of these little bitches running around causing mayhem and mischief and whacking folk. Like poor Luis, who, actually was acting a little bit creepy because he took one of the dolls down and decided to have dinner with it and was messing around with it, and then he paid for that idiocy with his life.
Did a doll crawl in him? I saw
I wasn't
the chest
sure.
moving.
No, I think later on. Yeah, but later on it's explained that he died of a heart attack. So I think what we're supposed to be seeing is his heart going way too hard and fast.
Because myself and Pam were wondering, because I was like, what happened there? Because I was like, when he was dying, I was like, why is he ripping his shirt off? It's like, what's going on?
I thought maybe one of the dolls had spiked his food or something, and I actually went back and I kind of went, did I miss something? Because I looked away for a second, and then I looked back up, and I was like, did I miss? Because sometimes, there'd be a subtle thing, and if you miss it, you miss it. But no, nothing like that. It was actually supposed to be his heart exploding in his chest, basically. But this film is a bit slow, but it's a good slow build tension, in my opinion, because, like I said, rather than, the usual bit of gaslighting where someone's saying this is wrong and everyone else is like, it's all in your imagination. Instead, we have Marilyn becoming more and more worried about her daughter, especially because she's looking out at one point. There's this dollhouse in the back garden, and she's looking out and she can clearly see two figures of about the same height moving, even though when she goes out to check, it's just her daughter and the doll. So, it's kind of like, okay, that's weird. It's not long, however, before her suspicions are confirmed, and she comes to the realization that this thing is a demon. There's a demon in it. She has a conversation with Rip Torn's character to find out more about the Sanzian people, puts two and two together, and is like, there's a fucking doll controlling my daughter.
If
what
she
the
didn't
hell
understand
do I
that there was a
do?
doll controlling her daughter, when the daughter gets really racist at the maid or the cleaning lady from the house as well.
She didn't get. Did she get racist?
What was it?
Kintaros.
Oh, was that what?
I
It said?
didn't look
Okay,
up
I'm
what
not
it
even
meant.
going to say what I thought it said. Okay, never mind. She started speaking in another language.
No, because I found I had a subtitle track for my one, and I put it on. There's actually some of the Spanish bits get translated, and that didn't get
I
translated.
think
It
that's
just
supposed
said
to be
what she
from
said. So I was
the
gonna,
language of the doll. Yeah, Sanzian.
Sanzian.
Excuse me, Sanzian.
Yeah, the housemaid Camilla does actually comment to the mother that she said something in Sanzian, and the mother's like, "What the fudge is going on here?" But no, it's like I said, it's a lot slower than Dolls. It doesn't move at the same pace, but at the same time, it's not, as long as there isn't that kind of like 20 minutes of, this is happening. No, you're just crazy. As long as it's not that, then I think it's acceptable, because it's story building slowly. The Elliot's trying to get the factory up and running. He's trying to fix the place up, and eventually he does come to the conclusion as well that holy shit, the dolls are alive when they try to whack him. But yeah, I think overall this is if this is going to be compared as being a Child's Play clone, then all I can say is it's not a clone, but I could see where it's inspired by it, but then goes in its own direction.
I wouldn't call it a clone either, to be honest. If it had stuck to just one killer doll, I would say they were going the Child's Play route, but there's a fucking army of them by the end of the movie. Do you know what I mean? Number one. Number two. Number two, I mean, like,
for me as well.
Charles Lee Ray and Chucky, he puts his soul into a doll, whereas this is an actual demonic entity that's got loose and gone into a doll itself. Do you know what I mean? There's enough differences, I think. You know?
Yeah, it sets it apart, and sets it apart in a good way. As I was saying to Johnny while we were watching the other trailer, usually when you see Rip Torn in a movie, he's kind of over the top, and his comedy is over the top, but then again, it's an over the top film.
He's quite grounded.
He plays it very straight, but but at the same time, he's a funny guy as well. You know, he's got some smart arse lines that are good, but they're naturally good.
As I
they're
said
not over the top
during the last ad break, archaeology humor, which is kind of on brand with what he'd be knocking out anyway in this particular role. But what really stood out for me out of this movie was they did a really good job of having kind of animatronics in the dolls' faces, but for a lot of the actual mobile doll stuff, it's someone done up in a costume, and when that it nearly like, to credit of the movie, the doll nearly looks like a doll version of Pazuzu from Exorcist at points, and it's fucking terrifying. Not straight up Pazuzu, but as in, do you know when Regan is
the facial,
and it looks great. And instead of overusing that, there's a really nice blend of actual doll footage with slight flashes of when the doll's doing shit. It's demon doll, you know what I mean? And it's really good. It kind of really sticks out and stands with you and stuff. Very, very well done. It wouldn't be my favorite. It'd probably be my least favorite movie out of the list tonight. Personally,
comparatively,
but not a bad movie.
Just because, and only because of the slower pacing when compared to the other two films.
Like as I said when we were talking about Dolls, where it had a really organic flow and storyline. This suffered from what the normal 90s and late 80s slasher movie had, which was we have a load of exposition at the start to get the background story out and blah, 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 which is really just to get us to the kills and get everyone start getting murdered and things like that. Whereas, I just found the initial opening gambit of story just a little bit slower paced, where I don't think it needed to be. But God, the girl who plays the young girl, great job out of her. I can't remember the actress's name right now, but she does a bloody good job of...
Candace Hudson.
Yeah, great job for a young girl. Like when she's supposed to be creepy, I may be possessed by the demon. She's fucking creepy.
Holy crap! She voiced Sarah in The Land Before Time.
Cool. Never seen it.
Okay. Fair enough.
I saw a magical thing. How have I not? I can tell you exactly how. I saw a magical thing called Stephen King's It, the 2-part miniseries, when I was about 10. And after that, animated kids movies held no joy for me whatsoever. I want to see people getting killed, and I want to see some monsters doing some freaky shit. Thank you very much.
I saw Predator when I was 8, and I still loved cartoons.
You and
still
I,
do.
as has been documented several times, are two very different people. Once I saw the blood and gore, I was like, oh, god damn, dancing cutlery and fucking talking mouses can go fuck off. I want to see some chainsaws.
To be fair, most of the cartoons that I watched when I was a kid involved giant robots kicking the crap out of each other anyway.
You're talking about a guy who has never... I've been in the presence of The Lion King. I've never seen it.
I have. Once.
If you know what I mean. I've been in a house where it's been on, but I've been doing other shit. And I was not the one with The Lion King on. And I had no one... Couldn't give a fuck.
To be fair...
What?
To be fair, the bad guy in The Lion King, Scar, is actually a really cool bad guy.
Sure.
But anyway.
Most bad guys from Disney movies are really good bad guys. It's just that they're all the same bad guy
Yeah, they are.
with a different skin.
Huh. Hmm.
Every 90%,
does seem- yeah, he is very
90%
Jafar.
of Disney movies are the same fucking movie with a different soundtrack, a different skin, and a different location.
Hmm.
Like, for instance,
enough.
the only major difference between Aladdin and from what I can tell with, because I have seen Aladdin and The Lion King, from what I can tell, is that Aladdin is actually trying to hook up with a different chick, whereas in The Lion King, he's trying to bang his sister. Or technically, the sister's
It's
trying to
never
bang him.
defined. I don't think it's his sister. Cousin, maybe, but not sister.
Cool. I haven't seen the movie, so this is like from whatever info I've assimilated.
Fair
But
enough.
yeah.
Anyway, Dolly Dearest is good fun, though.
Yeah, will we hit the trailer? Okay, here's
Yes.
here. You've seen the trailer playing in the background already, but here's the trailer with the audio for Dolly Dearest, and we will be back where we're going to be talking not exclusively about dolls for the. Yep, it's the bear with the mask, of course. Where we're going to be talking not exclusively about dolls for the next movie, but there is a big chunk of doll in the middle, which is why it's on our list for killer dolls, which is 1995's Tales from the Hood. We'll be back after this.
This is the doll your daddy's gonna make in Mexico. This is the factory where we're gonna make her and sew her little dresses. My first sale.
Sweet dreams, Dolly. Good night, Dolly. You're going to be my new playmate.
These creatures are very haunting.
Why did you push Camilla?
Dolly told me.
Stop saying that!
Dolly locked the door. She doesn't like people coming in here.
Oh my God, she's in the dollhouse.
Our house.
She scared me. Really scared me.
We can't just pack up because our 7-year-old is having a tantrum.
What is happening to my daughter? The devil takes any form it desires. It will do anything to spread its word to the children. I'm taking the doll out of the bed, and I don't want to hear another word about it.
I'll kill you. I'll kill you if you try to separate us.
It's the doll. It's controlling her somehow.
What you're saying is completely irrational.
How can I stop it?
Yeah, what'll be next?
It's too late.
I'm sorry, Mommy.
And we are back. Oh, better put this back on for a moment. Oh God, where are we? Image. There we go. Put that back up. Yeah. There we go. So that was Dolly Dearest from 1991. If you haven't seen it, really good. I think it's on YouTube if you don't fancy renting it, to the best of my knowledge. Right, next up from 1995. Which parts, considering all of the weird mental shit that's been going on this year, is actually quite an apt movie in certain places.
To be fair, and it's an unfortunate thing, I don't think...
It's not specifically this year. It's an apt movie, period. For certain...
Yeah, and it's an unfortunate thing. Like, as much comedy as there is in this, there are, like, all the stories are very, very poignant.
They are 100%. They're very racially driven. Well, bar one. The kid, the story with the kid and the monster isn't really... Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
Right, so from 1995, this is Tales from the Hood, which, God, I'm going to say off the bat before I get into the multiple synopsis, this is a fucking great movie. This is, or should I say, because it's an anthology, this is an assortment of really good movies. So, Tales from the Hood, as is standard with your typical horror movie anthology, there's an overall kind of running storyline that ties all of the short film stories together, and the overall storyline is you have these 3 gangsters who break into I say break in. They attempt to break in and then are just very politely led into a morgue or funeral home. Looking for the shit. They've heard there's shit in the funeral home and they're looking for the shit. Keep that in mind, kids, because that's going to be a very prevalent line as the movie goes on. Because goddamn, these guys want the shit.
We do eventually find out what the shit is.
You do find out what the shit is.
We do eventually find out what the shit
Drugs.
is. Yes, that apparently the mortician found in an alleyway and took home. So they're there to get it back. Supposedly.
So anyway, they have the mortician held up, and the mortician is played by Clarence Williams III, which is always going to be a good sign in a movie. He's fucking brilliant. B, when he's playing someone who's batshit fucking crazy and off the fucking nut,
he does it really
well. It's also
well.
fucking brilliant, and they're a combination of 2 things that should sell the movie itself. But anyway, Clarence, not giving a flying fuck about the firearms that are being waved around his face, decides to just start strolling through the funeral home. Walks them into one room where there's a body, and you see a very crumpled, disjointed fucking corpse of a dude.
Sorry.
Goddamn. Yeah, sorry. You see the body of a young man named Clarence, who you find out Clarence used to be a police officer. There's a black politician who has been trying to uncover drugs, corrupt cops who are selling drugs within the precinct, and has nailed a couple of guys to the board already. Clarence and his partner pull over as they see 2 other cops having this particular gentleman up against the side of a car for no particular reason whatsoever. And he's like, you have no reason to pull me over. I don't know why. They do the typical smash the taillight at the back of the car. Your taillight's out. That's why we did it. And to kind of, long story short, Clarence gets sent back to the car to go double check his plates to make sure that the car isn't stolen. And then the 3 gentlemen beat the fucking shit out of this poor man because he's trying to do society justice and uncover these corrupt cops, to the point that he's verging on dead. Clarence comes out, has a bit of a wobbler. His partner puts him back in the car and he's like, look, this is the way how business is fucking done. You don't rat out cops and stuff like that. They're bringing them to the hospital now and it'll be all fucking fine. Get the fucking car. So he gets in the car. Long story short, as you can probably figure out, your man does not make it to the hospital. He gets injected with some of the fine quality drugs that the cops are puffing out. And he gets some syringes put in his pocket. He gets a couple of blocks of coke chucked in his trunk. And he gets driven off a pier. At which point, Clarence, after your man turns up dead and is discovered to be a drug addict and all of that, Clarence knows exactly what's happened and goes in a bit of a drinking binge, quits the force. Well, I don't know if he even quits the force. He just doesn't show up anymore. Goes on a drinking binge. And
he did. No, he did.
Goes on a drinking binge and has a full-blown mental breakdown, at which point he starts hearing the voice of this politician constantly telling him, bring them to me, Clarence. Bring them to me, especially while he's standing around this beautiful mural that's been painted in memory of the guy on a wall. Well, we say beautiful mural that may have been painted on the wall in memory of the guy. Or is Clarence just batshit fucking crazy? Nobody knows at the moment. Shut up, you batty. We'll get to it. We'll get to it in a minute. Clarence decides enough is enough and he is going to bring the guys over to your man. So he just goes out to your man's grave, calls the 3 cops saying that we need to talk. Clarence, visibly not all there, says, we need to, it's wrong what we did. The cops are, needless to say, quite twitchy of his behaviour. Clarence says, all will be forgiven if we can just go to your man's grave and stuff like that in memory, at which point the cops are like, his grave's well into the graveyard. Okay, this is the perfect place to go kill Clarence. Yeah, Clarence, come on, we'll go and take a look at your man's grave with you, no problem whatsoever. After some arguments with Clarence and arguments between themselves, the cops decide to show respect to your man's grave by busting a leak on the gravestone. One man busts a leak. Cop number 2 goes to bust a leak and his cock gets ripped clean off him. Pulled into a grave in front of all of his friends, never to be seen again. No, that's a lie. He pops back up with his whole face and everything ripped off. By now, a demon politician. Poltergeist politician? Vengeance demon.
I'd rather go
Vengeance.
undead.
He was more than a zombie.
Yes.
This guy was articulate and had
Vengeance
superpowers.
Demon is probably the best
Vengeance demon
Can I just say that there was a great line in this scene whereby one of the cops is throwing a wobbler and the other one's like, calm down. This is not the time to panic. Something else happens. He starts running away. Now's the time to panic.
So once the demon's out and about, people start getting murdered. He's chasing the cops down. The main antagonist out of the cops gets absolutely annihilated through a roof, gets his head pureed quite quickly. The other cop, who, if I remember correctly, is Party Boy from... Yeah, Clarence's ex-partner, and he's Party Boy from The Crow, which is ironic, because it's also... He's forever getting nailed by vengeance demons, this guy. He is. Deservedly so. Do you know what I mean? Granted, out of the whole... no, we won't get into The Crow. That'll be a whole different conversation. Anyway, long story short, they all get murdered. You get to see the final cop get crucified onto the painting of the politician, at which point he suddenly starts to warp, distort, and go crazy, and meld into the painting, where there is now a painting of him being crucified on a wall instead of the politician. And Clarence gets locked up because he's wackadoodle, because, you know, he killed 3 cops and is trying to say that the guy that he killed 3 cops and is trying to say that the guy that killed them is the dead politician. Blah, 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 blah. So he gets locked up. Then we go strolling on a little bit further through the funeral home of death as, what's Mr. Sims? That's his name. As Mr. Sims starts telling the guys about the second tale, where you get to see a crumpled up massive human being left in a coffin. And we find out that there's a young boy who's getting bullied at school. He keeps showing up to school with multiple bruises on him, saying that there's a monster in his house. He's been drawing pictures of the monster, and a young girl had told him that if you believe in the monster and you draw the picture and destroy the picture, you can get rid of the monster. Obviously, when he's been told about the monster at home, his school teacher, while worried about the child, is kind of like, look, man, whenever you want to tell me what's actually going on, I'm more than willing to come and help, until the boy shows up at school one day with way more bruises on him than he's used to seeing. So he decides to make a little house call out to the house, at which point the young boy's mother definitely tries to fuck him. Then her boyfriend / absolute bastard of boyfriend or fiance or whatever, that's never fully established, comes home. He's quite aggro from the offset. He finds out that the young boy's trying to kill the monster, at which point he goes and loses his shit, because he's like, you want to kill me, motherfucker? I'll show you how to kill someone. And then he goes on an attempted killing spree in the house. The school teacher busts back in trying to help. And needless to say, turns out if you draw the monster on a piece of paper and you destroy that piece of paper, you can destroy a monster. Mr. Sims in front of everyone. And then the school teacher got really on board with arson really quickly. He was just like, you know what you need to do, motherfucker. You know, which is true. Fuck him. Yeah, fuck that guy. Set him on fire.
When you think about it, it was more than that. He just encouraged the kid to kill somebody.
Well, look, let's call a spade now. Your man probably wasn't making it through. You know, like he was
true. It was more like he encouraged the kid to get rid of the evidence so that they wouldn't all go to jail.
Finish the job. If you're going to fucking do it, finish the job. Finish the job. God damn. How many? Clean your plate, son. That's what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? Anyway, moving on. Mr. Sims is now walking the young gentlemen, who are, needless to say, getting quite aggro when Mr. Sims been batshit fucking crazy and not showing them where the shit is. He brings them to a third guy who is a rather racist mayor, whose body's all like...
Well, no. He bumps off a doll.
Thank you.
And the doll
Sorry,
is
that's it. Yeah,
they
didn't all come out of coffins. Yeah, a weird doll falls out of the floor. He starts telling how souls sometimes were used as, dolls were used as receptacles for lost souls that had been tortured and were not able to find their way over to the other life and stuff like that. We fade into a story about, I'm not going to say full-blown KKK, but if you found out he was in the KKK, you wouldn't be surprised.
No, he was. That's the whole crux of it. They actually say it. He actually is a former member of the KKK. That's why he's got protesters outside his house.
Because he wouldn't leave the house be a monument to all of the slaves that were murdered there. Yeah.
It was made worse by the fact that he was a former member of the KKK.
I don't think he's the guy in the KKK. I think it's his family were in the KKK.
when they're doing, he's got a public relations officer to try and help him smooth over the fact that he's a horrible racist bastard. Now, I thought it was great because the public relations officer, he's a black guy, and I've seen him in Oz, and he played a character in that who joined the Muslim group for the sake of being in a group, but then betrayed them.
No, I'm just saying.
No, it was No, Adebisi never joined them. Are you kidding me? Adebisi was... No, he did. You're right.
It was an infiltration, more of a...
Not really joined them. He was...
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, getting back to the story at hand. I just thought it was cool to see him, kind of going against the grain. And he's actually the one that raises the question, it's, they're doing this pretend interview. And he actually asks him, he goes, what about your former, what about the fact that you used to be a KKK member? He's like, look, we all have our mistakes in the past and we learn from them, blah, blah, blah. He's trying to coach him through this stuff.
Unfortunately, while coaching him through this stuff, he trips over a weird, creepy little doll that we've seen in the funeral home and falls snappingly to his death at the end of the stairs. While at the funeral of his press officer, the doll shows up in the limo, so he gets rid of the doll henceforth. Then he gets back to his house and the doll's in the house. And then he looks up at the painting of the woman who used to be kind of like the head of the slaves kind of thing in the house. And there's all these dolls that she had made that your man had mentioned previously, that he was like, when I moved into the house, I literally looked everywhere so I could get rid of these dolls. I figured I could sell them for a bit of cash or something. Do you know what I mean? Because there's cultural significance to them. Couldn't find them anywhere. It turns out the souls of those dolls weren't actually buried in the house. They were put into the painting with this old lady. So when he looks up at the painting, the doll that was sitting in her lap, there's now just a blank space of a doll. Yeah, it was really good. He starts getting harassed by the doll. There's a bit of a toot to tet. Some people swing off a chandelier. Some people pull out shotguns. Some guy gets a bit of his neck bitten off. Then the doll gets put on a dartboard and set on fire and blasted off with a shotgun, at which point he goes back into his office kind of like, fuck that fucking doll anyway. Goddamn N-word. Then, upon looking at the painting, he realizes, oh, fuck, there's a load more blank spaces on that painting, at which point more dolls start showing up and he starts trying to get rid of them, and there's a couple of them get hit with a shotgun butt and things like that as he tries to get away. And then as he's having a full-blown mental breakdown, he realizes that, oh shit, the old lady's off the painting, all the dolls are off the painting, and all of a sudden there's like 50 dolls around this man, and the old lady sitting there with a very, very, very happy smile on her face as all of the little fuckers go and annihilate this absolute prick. Well deserved. Flashback. We're back in the funeral home now, kids, and Mr. Sims is bringing them down towards what is their last leg of the journey, shall we say, as he tells them about a story of this gangbanger named Crazy K, who was the nastiest gangbanger that ever did gangbang in the world of gangbanging. I'm assuming he was by the number of fucking dead people that show up during the...
Yeah, no, it's just that word, that term also has other
connotations.
Yes,
but in this particular case, as you can probably tell by the clip literally on the screen right now, that's not what I'm talking about.
True, very true.
If I was talking about it in this context, it'd be a Mandingo party. Last time, is that the right term? Isn't it? Am I correct? Yeah, okay. So anyway, Crazy K, I'm sure, judging by the numbers that you see pop up as he's having to confront all of the spirits of the dead people that he made dead, there's he's been fucking racking up some numbers. Do you know what I mean? Like, Crazy K, you just got to look at Crazy K arseways and he will shoot you clean in the fucking face. But anyway, Crazy K is out looking for the last motherfucker who stiffed him for a bit of cash. He pops some holes in that guy's chest, and that guy's friends come out and riddle Crazy K with some bullets. And then they all get in a bit of a gunfight with the cops. All of that happens. Crazy K survives, goes to hospital, goes to jail, and then he's put into... he's given an option where you can do life in jail or you can do a duration in this program that I'm doing to try and rehabilitate people, and you could be back out in the streets in a couple of months. So Crazy K is kind of like, oh, I'm definitely taking that option. Sign me up. So he goes down, and essentially Crazy K gets Clockwork Oranged. Yeah. He's fed loads of really awesome music. If memory serves me correctly, I want to say it's Wu-Tang Clan. Do you know when they're all of the video? Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I think it's Wu-Tang Clan. I'm not 100%. I think it's Wu-Tang Clan. Or one of the guys from Wu-Tang Clan. It's something to do with Wu-Tang Clan. I'm nearly 100% that it's one of the Wu-Tang Clan songs. But anyway, he's getting all of that stuff pumped into his brain. He's having none too fun with that. Then he gets put into a sensory deprivation box where he's just left tied to a chair in the dark. And then all of a sudden, all of the spirits of the people that he's murdered over the years, and fuck me, there's a lot of them. Like, there's barely enough room to fit him in the chair in by the end of it. People start showing up. Crazy K. Ain't no changing Crazy K. Crazy K is Crazy K. Crazy K is going to go out and start killing people the minute he's left free or whatever. At which point you realize Crazy K wasn't in a program. Crazy K was doing his penance to see what side of the stairs he should be walking, up or down. He's going down, by the way, just to let you know. Fast elevator, track down.
Very much so. Very much so. Do not spit off the lift. We told
Yes.
you not to spit off the escalator.
Yes, 100%. So much so that, keep that in mind. We're back in the funeral home now, kids. And the lads are literally on their final leg where they're kind of like, listen, Sims, if you don't show us where the shit is, we're going to fucking pop a cap in your fucking head and you're fucking done. Bounce Sims off the coffin that's there. Sims then decides, oh, you know what? I'll let you see where the shit is. I'll show you the shit. Let's go. At which point, there's a little nugget of gold unveiled that the three guys that Crazy K was in the gunfight with are our three friends that are sitting here. Now, you ask yourself, I'm full sure I saw those lads get riddled with bullets while I was watching that happen. Whatever could be going on here. At which point, the three gentlemen decide to open the coffins where the shit is to find out that the shit is their dead fucking bodies. Because those guys have been dead. And Clarence, he's straight up Satan. And the funeral home is just a beautiful front.
Yeah.
It's essentially like the welcome lobby to hell. End movie. Good times. It's fucking great,
cool.
This movie. As I said, it's very... All the stuff that's going on this year and all the stuff that's been going on in life in general, very poignant. All three stories. Even when the Monster Kid one isn't particularly racially driven by definition, it is a very good example of how kids and family can be affected by spousal abuse and that kind of thing. And as I said earlier when we were watching Dolly Dearest, or sorry, not Dolly Dearest, as I said earlier when we were watching Dolls, sometimes if a kid comes in telling you there's a monster, go fucking check. Because what one
There's a
kid's
fucking
big
monster.
green scaly monster is another person's just straight up fucking asshole that's doing stuff he shouldn't be doing.
Yep.
Unless your kid's able to fold paper and crush things that are drawn on the paper, at which point I just let him sort it out. You know,
Well,
I'm
eventually
saying
sort
if you
it
can
out.
do that, just
Yeah,
let your
this
kids sort
is-
it out that way, because it was very effective.
Yeah, this is just a very, very well put together themed anthology for the most part. And once again, in a time when practical effects ruled, this kind of shows why. And the overall story is enough to draw you in, especially that little twist, that little hook at the end where, you find out, oh, it's actually, oh, okay, that's, And yeah, you're right, it is held together brilliantly by
Clarence-
Mr.
Clarence
Sims,
Williams
because he's just
Clarence
batshit
Williams III.
fucking crazy.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Because he's just batshit fucking
he's
crazy.
so good
in
at that kind of character.
And
As you said, special effects in this were brilliant. I have to say, notably, the Vengeance Demon story with the corrupt cops, the special effects in that are fucking fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Like, the zombie makeup kind of stuff on your man is great. The way the dude gets absorbed into the painting is beautiful. Even the way your man gets pulled face down into the grave, everything was practically done look great. And I have to say the standout one special effects wise for me was the story with the kid, because when that guy gets crumpled with the paper, it is horrible.
Yeah, I was thinking the
horrible.
same thing.
In a good visual way. Oh,
You can
yeah.
hear snap, crackle, and
we've
pop.
seen the limbs thing been done before in loads of movies. Do you know what I mean? It's the way this guy literally gets folded into a fucking puddle, practically, is bloody brilliant. Yet again, I don't actually have bad points about this movie. Like, all the stories flew... I'd actually say flew by. They're about 20 minutes each, but they really fly by. The pacing and everything in them is great. The overall story arc, which a lot of anthologies, in my opinion, fall down on, whereas they just come up with some loosey-goosey story to tie everything together. This overarching story plot was as integral to the storyline of everything as the short films themselves. And it's bloody brilliant. Really good. Really good. I've not a bad word to say about Tales from the Hood. I enjoyed this start to finish. Pam hadn't seen it, actually, and she was like, God damn, that was a good movie. And I was like, yep. Great soundtrack.
Apparently she's
That's
just
Clarence
commented that Don
Williams
King was
III.
in it.
I can see the comparisons.
I know.
It's the hair. It's the hair.
Yeah.
But will we leave it at that? Do you have any more good points or bad points?
No, like you said, it's so well put together, and the stories flow together so easily and so naturally, and the overall connecting story is very integral in the way that it goes and works very well to draw you into each individual short story.
Dolls as well. Everyone you see get their fucking comeuppance in it. You're delighted to see get their comeuppance in it.
Oh, yeah, this is very much a film with moral tales woven out throughout it.
As you've seen running in the background is the trailer for Tales from the Hood, so we're going to give you a quick look at the actual trailer from Tales from the Hood, and then Giz and I will be here to say goodbye and let you know what's coming up in American Horrors in about a half an hour. Catch you in a little bit.
Let's roll, bud. In this neighborhood is a house where souls never rest. You're invited to share their secrets. I've been waiting for you boys. You're invited to share their tales. Unless, of course, you're scared. Tales of madness. Of revenge.
The dolls don't want you there. They want reparation.
Of horror.
He thinks he needs to kill the monster.
Now, your most terrifying nightmare and your most frightening reality are about to meet. On the streets.
Man, this is a trip, homie. I don't need nothing from no house of dead folks, okay?
Death. It comes in many strange packages. The producer of Menace to Society and executive producer Spike Lee will take you to the outer limits of the inner city.
Welcome to hell!
Tales from the Hood. Chew. Or be chewed.
Hey, man, I don't need to be hearing this, man.
Written and produced by Darren Scott. Written and directed by Rusty Cundiff.
Yep, and that was the trailer for Tales from the Hood from 1995. If somehow you haven't seen this movie, definitely go check it out. It's a really good watch. Moral tales aside, it's just a bloody good movie on top of that. Right, that's it for tonight's GoreCast. As is customary on American Horrors, or as is customary on a Sunday, myself and Giz are over on American Horrors from 2:30 in the morning. This time, 8:30 p.m. CST for you Americans, where we're going to be going fully in depth to the inventory that is the GoreCast Toy Shelf of Death, where there's a whole lot more pickings to be talked about. As well as that, it's a double feature this week for a change. So also there's going to be myself and Giz talking about monsters that kind of did it their way, which are, while admittedly some of them aren't the greatest movies, goddamn the monsters in them are very original, and the functionality of them is stuff that you don't customarily see seen, and we thought they needed and deserved a bit of a shout out. Other than that, join Carter and hopefully Buzz if the illness is passed this Tuesday for we're going to be getting into the whole festive run of shows for the rest of the month. So it will be as I said, hopefully Buzz if he's recovered from the illnesses, where they will be doing instead of original versus remake, it's going to be original versus sequel this week, which is going to be Gremlins 1 and 2, which is chalk it down. That's some good shit. Thursday. What are we doing Thursday? Do you have the list? Give me 1 sec. I have an entire... We've done an itinerary for the month for once. I just need...
yes, we did.
Thursday, we're going to be doing, for the weekly group chat, we're going to be doing Christmas Evil, Dead of Night, 1977, and Silent Night, Deadly Night from 1984, which are our whole host of crazy, evil Christmas horror movies. Giz and I don't know exactly what we're probably going to have some screeners on next week because we're doing the Chris J. Miller special on American Horrors. So we'll probably have some screeners and things like that playing for next. Yeah.
More recent releases,
yes,
maybe.
Actually, that's what we'll do. We'll do Freaky and we'll do a couple of other ones that have come out recently. I have a couple of screeners in as well, which we'll add on to the list. So that'll be myself and Giz next Sunday. Okay. And during the week at some stage, I will have another gaming stream up, seeing as you guys have been enjoying the gaming streams, where feel free to leave me a note on Facebook or Instagram which one you'd like to see me do. It'll either be DayZ with myself and Carter again, or it'll be a little bit of Hollow Knight for the two of us, either or. People were liking the DayZ thing. I think it's kind of relaxing just watching a guy run through the woods, smash a zombie with a baseball bat, but otherwise just have a general nice chat with his friend while doing so. So it'll probably be DayZ because I'm highly addicted to it. But as I said, as is customary, we're over in American Horrors, 8:30 p.m. CST or whatever that equates to as GMTs, which is literally about 35 minutes from now for a GoreCast double bill. And here are the trailers for both of those shows. And other than that, myself and Giz will catch you during the week where we're going to be talking about a whole lot more festive horror bollocks. GoreCast out.
The Scorpions are fucking badass. The Harpies are pretty cool too, actually.
Why do you have me watching Clash of Titans, man? It's absolutely shit.
What? Are you kidding? It's visually awesome. The giant scorpions are cool. Medusa is actually really kind of hot. And to tell you the truth, every time the Kraken makes his great big grand entrance, it completely, totally, and utterly blows.
Huh. That gives me a good idea for an episode, though. Join myself and the Giz this Sunday, 8:30 p.m. CST, whatever that equates to as GMT is only on. Okay, so monsters did it their way.
Yeah.
Really cool monsters.
Yeah.
That you don't see normally in horror movies.
Yeah.
I was thinking if you go one, then I go one, then you go one,
So
then I go
me
one.
to you, from me to you.
Yeah.
Chuckle Brothers.
Yeah. Waka waka. Okay. Can you pass me the mic?
Yeah, no bother.
Jesus! Okay, well, if you want to join myself and hopefully Johnny this Sunday at 8:30 p.m. CST and whatever that equates to in GMTs, where we're going to be discussing some monsters that did it their way. And hopefully I'll have gotten him back out of whatever Jesus that is. Oh.
What the hell?
You fucking hellfire!
Oh God! What are you doing, you dickhead?
Man, this fucking thing, it's like, I don't know, man, there's something about it, it's like giving me this weird, mad, fucking creepy look. It's just oh.
That must be the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Toys don't.
Fuck it. Probably nothing. Probably nothing. Actually, that gives me a good idea for an episode. Join myself and the Giz this Sunday, 8:30 p.m. CST, whatever that equates to as GMTs, only on American Horrors for the first of our festive run of episodes where we're going to be discussing our toy shelf of death.
Don't forget, if you enjoy our Madcap GoreCast horror hijinks, we stream 3 nights a week over on YouTube, Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays, where you can see a little bit of this. Turd spoon, god damn, I knew there was something I wanted to bring up in the... God damn, I don't know what a fucking turd spoon is, but I'm mad to...
Yeah, it's pretty in-depth.
Most definitely some of this.
With a new 2009 twist. She pulls out of her vagina.
I'll give it to her though, because like, you know how like magicians kind of like do something and they pause dramatically? She took that dramatic pause.
And occasionally some of this.
Our favorite Halloween movies.
What's up, GoreCasters? Welcome back here to the GoreCast. Yeah, okay, I'm here. I'm back.